And good evening, morning, timeline, whatever. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Geekamole. It is episode 45. Can you freaking believe it? 45. Holy crap. We're 5 episodes away. Actually, now that I think about it, just after Halloween, actually, would be our 50th.
Yeah.
As long as we stay on track. Well, we may have an interruption or two. Who knows? But as you can see, we're one step closer to our reformatting. We have green screens. Isn't that frightening? Well, I've had mine for a while. It's just not been in here with me, but Mouse has his. Look at that.
That means we can be anywhere we want to.
And more importantly, we can have the illusion that we're together. I was just watching a show the other day, a YouTube show, where it was a couple talking about RuPaul's Drag Race, and they were sitting there on these little stools with, I think it's called movie bitches, and he's drinking his booze right now. I'm drinking my water.
I'm drinking my booze.
I don't drink that much, but they both had.
This is the first booze I've had in 4 months.
Well, this is the first non-booze
I
I've
just thought that the green screen deserved a little bit of.
He's breaking the green screen in with a toast. Okay.
There, I just smashed my booze on the green screen.
Okay, please don't do that. But they had these gigantic brandy sifters of red wine, and they had a little counter. Anytime that one of them took a drink, the counter went up. So it was actually pretty funny. Anyways. So, welcome to Media Week of our new format. We are getting damn close to having the full official reformat, but one step at a time, every week we're a little closer to the new format.
Bit by bit, putting it together.
Maybe next week we'll have it official, and we can christen it in with the games. Games is what we'll talk about next week. So, anyways, we're gonna try and bust this out in 20 to 30 minutes or less. So let's go ahead and
hold on. Let me start the timer because I do want to. Stopwatch, start it now.
Okay, fine. So first up, Mouse.
So we have two bits of news of Stan Lee that happened in the last 2 weeks. As you know, Stan Lee does have his little comic, this little con, which now is going to be renamed, actually. It's now called Stan Lee's L.A. Comic Con. It used to be called Stan Lee's Kamikaze Expo. And the con is scheduled for October 28th to the 30th in the Los Angeles Convention Center. For those of you who are lucky enough to go, I hate you. But also, Stan the Man has been busy. We have news that he has recently recorded not 1 but 4 cameos for the upcoming Marvel movie projects. We don't know if it's for the most immediate releases, which of course are the upcoming Guardians of the Galaxy, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Well, I would say he's got to be done with Doctor Strange because it's done filming.
Yeah, it's done filming.
I would say it's probably Infinity War, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, whatever the final Captain America is, and possibly Homecoming.
Of course, this does bring up this bit of the sad notion that, of course, Stan Lee is doing this in advance because, well, it could be because of time constraints and whatnot, but most likely it's because the man is up there in age, and very soon you and I will probably go to a Marvel movie that does not have a Stan Lee cameo, and at the end it says "in loving memory of Stan Lee."
Or the cameo will be a flash of his unfortunate gravestone.
Yes. But he is 93 years old, so...
A spry 93.
A spry 93, but he has already been, he had a minor cardiac issue last year.
Probably possible, I don't know.
But yes, so that's the news for Stan.
Alright, next up, passengers. You guys have no idea what shit I went through just to get this logo. This is not to be confused with the critically panned 2008 Anne Hathaway movie. This features Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt, so, Mockingjay and Guardians of the Galaxy making a crossover. Traveling
Is
on...
that pretty?
Well, it's Love in Space, as it was being called. Apparently, this involves two starship passengers who are on a meant to be a 120-year voyage to a distant colony called Homestead 2. And there's a malfunction about 90 years early that wakes these two particular passengers up, with no ability to go back into cryosleep, I guess. And as they're awake, they learn that not only was there a malfunction that woke them, there's a bit more going on with the ship than originally thought. So this looks to be
HAL 9000.
Possibly. I'm afraid I can't let you do that. Anyways, so it's scheduled for December 21st, 2016. It looks very interesting. The trailer they just dropped a trailer for it, and definitely go watch it. And after the show, always after the show. I'm just gonna make that we should make shirts that say Geekamole after the show.
Yes,
you can watch it after the show. But yeah, it definitely looks very interesting. I was watching it before the show because I can do that because I know what I'm going to talk about before you do.
Oh, really?
If you guys know what I'm going to talk about before I do, we're in trouble, and we're talking some Doctor Who timey-wimey wibbly-wobbly stuff. So, while Mouse plays with his silky shirt, we'll move on to our next topic.
You mean my next topic?
Your next topic, because we're alternating.
Yes, we are alternating, because it's nice when people take turns. Sorry, I had to tell Windows to F off. I didn't swear.
Windows.
F off Windows. It wants me to reboot now, and I'm telling it, no, I got an important thing to do. I have to talk to my people. So, those of us who were following the saga of the Tick on Amazon... on Amazon, we were worried that perhaps the full series might not be ordered. But we can put those fears to rest because Amazon has announced that The Tick, based, of course, on the comic by Ben Edlund, has been ordered, and it will debut as a full series in 2017.
Is that it?
That's it. We have...
Like some of these are quick hits, and some of them just ramble.
Well, here's the thing, though. The Tick is one of those shows. It's kind of like it's one of those shows that never really got, both the animated one and the live action one, never really got the love it deserved. I honestly thought they were maybe a little bit too ahead of their time.
Where were you Family Guys back then?
Exactly. Exactly. It's it really should have happened in the Family Guy era because it's a show that's the humor and the parody really does hit with that kind of humor. But, back in the day, it was kind of an outlier. So now I think it's ready to come home. Now, I hope, of course, that the humor feels fresh to people, and it doesn't feel like they're... they were ahead of their time, so I hope that now I don't...
now they're on time.
Or behind the times.
All right. So next up, speaking of irreverent humor, Slash. This is an indie film starring Michael Johnston, Hannah Marks, Violet Bean, and Michael Ian Black. And apparently, this has the potential to be either really good or really bad or really good for the wrong reasons. This is a film about a slash fiction author who falls in love with another slash fiction author, and it's about really their fan fiction kind of coming to life. And I'm just gonna say this came out. It premiered at the XSF. Let's try and say it right. SXSW. God damn it! I'm gonna get it right.
Repeat after me. The rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain.
Thank you, Carol Channing. It's SXSW. There. Oh, this is worse than when he tries to pronounce Japanese names. and it's only going to go downhill from here. Anyways, just wait till you see the rest of my topics. The names and pronunciations will go downhill. Anyways, so
just don't pull a Rosie O'Donnell. Just do not pull a Rosie O'Donnell.
I don't know how I would do that, but anyways, so it came out at a film festival, and yeah, so it's coming to theaters and view on demand December 9th, and I'm just gonna leave you with the quote from the end of the trailer, because this is a quote that needs to be said. Dumbledore, only the energy of our mutual orgasm combined with unbroken eye contact can close the door to the Nexiverse, like in Ghostbusters. That pretty much should sum up the film. Moving on.
I need to see this movie.
Love is love. Because topical. We're being topical.
The segue. That was a perfect segue.
I thought so.
Dumbledore, orgasm, and now love is love. So,
mutual orgasm. I still don't even know who's talking.
Oh, look. My assistant brought me coffee.
Oh, side delivery. Where's my assistant with things?
You need to hire one.
I'm alone.
So, let's talk very briefly. There is a 144-page anthology called Love is Love, which is going to be coming out in December. It is organized by Mark Andreyko, and it has... this is done in a partnership with DC Comics, and it's done to benefit survivors of the Pulse nightclub shootings in Orlando earlier this year. And it's going to benefit through the charity organization Equality Florida. Now, this anthology looks like it's going to be kick-ass. It's going to include work by Phil Jimenez, Steve Sandowski, Paul Jenkins, Mike Carey, Matt Wagner, Marguerite Benet, and God, I hope I pronounced that last name correctly, Aniki, Damon Lindell. Now you get to laugh at me. Damon Lindelof.
My tongue because I've got worse things to say later.
Patton Oswalt, Stephen Orlando, Rafael Albuquerque, and I could pronounce that one, Jason Aaron, Jason Latour, James Asmus, Ming Doyle, James Tinian the Fourth, Cecil Castellucci, Brandon Peterson, Jesus Saiz, Olivier Coipiel, Leniel Yu.
The name dropping.
I know. It's just the sheer number of people involved with this. Elsa Charretier, and still more yet to be announced.
He overfreshed that one, didn't he?
You're basically going to have IDW and DC characters and creators involved, and you're also going to have other publishers like Images Southern Bastards with a new story by Jason Aaron and Jason Latour. So this project is going to be pretty damn big, and it's pretty cool. I don't know if you've seen some of the I don't know what you're using for the icon for that, but
I'm using Batwoman with
okay.
the flag.
Yes, so that's a pinup. That's not going to be the actual cover. There is I think though that should be the cover because it's so gorgeous. It's the artist in the Batwoman pinup is Rafael Albuquerque, but the variant cover has, I want to say it's Wonder Woman, but I can't say sure.
Towards it being Diana.
Mostly because the samples I've seen are very, very small, and there's like a tiny little girl. There's like a little girl behind her dressed in Wonder Woman going ah. So it could be, which would be awesome considering the news that we will reveal later on. Next, back to you.
Next, back to me. Okay, so next, back to me. Russia, what the hell's up with you and your sci-fi trailer? God damn! First
Russia.
Guardians and now this. We recently had a trailer drop for a new Russian movie called Attraction. Film starring, here's where we go. Here's where it all goes wrong. Oleg Menshikov, Alexander Petrov, Rinal this is the one that's going to screw me. Mukhametov, and Irina Starshenbaum. I think I got hers right at least. But it is. It looks very interesting. It starts off with. And go see the trailer after the show. It involves a very interesting starship design. That's the starship up there. Crash landing in presumably a Russian. He can't see it. Presumably, it's crashing in a Russian city, and I don't know what the hell's going on beyond that because the trailer hasn't been translated that I could see yet. The film is scheduled to come.
You don't have any Russian friends you can run this through?
Yeah, I would have pronounced those names a lot better if I had Russian friends.
You should have asked me. I do.
Well, then they can translate it later, and we can come back and revisit this. Anyways, so it's scheduled for release in Russia on January 26th, 2017. It does not have an official U.S. release date, but I'm really kind of hoping that it does because this just like Guardians. We got Guardians coming out at the same time we had Fantastic Four. Really? Okay, so I'm just saying, keep it up, Russia. We need the competition because we got some lazy people in Hollywood who have just been churning out Michael Bay stuff that really needs to be taken to task. So, anyways,
I mean, if Russia has to get at least one thing right,
I'm just saying, I'll take the damn movies. I will. Next up, Adventure Time.
So it is with great sadness that we are to announce that Cartoon Network's Adventure Time will come to an end on its 9th season in 2018, which at least it's going out strong instead of hanging on for 25 years.
Simpsons.
Now this will give you an idea. So Adventure Time first appeared on television in 2007, and it was hugely popular, and it has remained pretty damn popular since. Pendleton Ward is the one who created the series, and he said that he wanted to make a show that was personal to us and that had jokes too, and it had sense of humor, and sort of like Steven Universe. This is one of those shows that has tackled some issues and some topics that you would normally not see in a children's show. Not inappropriate topics, but things like Alzheimer's that were handled with a lot of sensitivity and took you by surprise because you usually expect shows aimed for kids to be just humor. So Adventure Time and Steven Universe are two of those shows that do that, and it's a nice thing to see the show ending on a strong note instead of just wasting into irrelevance. So good job, Adventure Time, and hopefully the last episode is a killer.
Like Gravity Falls.
Like Gravity Falls.
Going from things going away to things coming back, Twin Peaks. We kind of talked about this a couple months ago, I think, but they have released another sort of teaser trailer that involves the original composer Angelo Badalamenti. Badalamenti, that's right, yeah, Badalamenti. Basically, playing the original Twin Peaks theme song that he developed along with David Lynch, and just showing the forest and.
But 20 years later, was it 25 years? What was it?
Oh, well, it's about 26 years later at this point. But basically, this is to give hope to the fans that it will be consistent with the original 2 seasons. They already have confirmed that there's a long list of returning cast members, including Kyle MacLachlan, Sherilyn Fenn, Cheryl Lee, David Duchovny. There's a whole bunch of newcomers, such as Laura Dern, Michael Cera, Richard Chamberlain, etc. So season 3 of Twin Peaks is currently scheduled to come out on Showtime starting next year. So I'm sure
27 years.
Yeah, at this point, 27 years into this. But hey, the fact that they picked up on the end of the series and continued it, almost faithfully, I give them kudos for that because that takes a lot of balls, quite honestly.
It does.
All right, next up.
So, following on Love is Love, we now have confirmation from the creative team in charge of Wonder Woman. Well, not news to anyone who knows the character, who has followed the character, knows about her creator, whatnot. But for the people out there
and understands logic,
people, for those of you who have been under a rock since 1947, Wonder Woman is queer.
And get out from under that rock, because it's bound to be heavy.
Yeah. So Greg Rucka has confirmed that Wonder Woman is, technically speaking, queer. That means that she is most likely bisexual. She has, because, she came from an island of women, immortal women, who have, and Diana has never seen a man in her entire life, whatever, etc. She feels attracted to both females and males, which kind of makes her the first really prominent bisexual superhero. I mean, previously we had Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, but up until very recently, Harley Quinn was not one of the more popular characters, although now she's kind of like DC's Golden Girl right now. But this is pretty cool, because this is a member of the official Trinity. Of course, predictably, people all over the internet are losing their, I can't say that word because our thing about cussing.
They're losing their minds.
They're losing their flipping minds over it. And of course, people are calling this a PC stunt. They're calling it more trash from DC. In fact, someone who used to be a freelancer for DC said this was just more DC garbage, and this is how you drive people away from comics. And I'm thinking, you should know better. For those of you who have this belief, I wrote a very extensive article on my blog that you can find at vorpalmusings.tumblr.com, where I lay out the entire history of Wonder Woman and her creator, William Moulton Marston, who, among other things, was the author in 1928 of a book called The Emotions of Normal People, where he argued that homosexuality was in fact natural. And of course, anyone who read the original classic Wonder Woman stories can tell that the lesbian subtext between Wonder Woman and her Amazons is very, very thick, to the point that it caused Friedrich Wertham, who published Seduction of the Innocent, to have a conniption and said, "This is propaganda for lesbianism." So there is that. You can always go and check that out. And if you have any questions, I can always document it. And
again, it's like I said, it's logical. It's an island exclusively full of women, and you can't assume that there was nothing going on for thousands of years because a person get bored. I'm sorry.
Well, and here's the thing. Although the Amazons were not when Marston created the Amazons, he did not faithfully mold them after the Greek myths. Even though the Amazons technically would have been Scythian. There's my history lesson for you guys. But he didn't exactly mold them faithfully to the Greek model. But still, you have to remember that there is some element of the Greek myths in them. And that the Greeks had 3 different types of love classified. You have eros, agape, and philios, which was filial love or friendship love, and then you had romantic sort of platonic love, and then you had the full-on erotic love. And in the society of women, you could potentially have an intimate emotional relationship without having a sexual relationship for those Amazons who identified more as straight, and then of course those who were comfortable with either gender, they could go the way. So you have all of that.
In a society who it's arguable if they knew if men existed. Some of them, I mean.
Well, no, they did.
Yeah, okay. Then again, they Zeus. What can I say? Yeah,
well, no. Well, in the history itself, unless we have to see, because the Greg Rucka. Even in the reboots, the Amazons knew men, because 99% of the Amazons who live on Paradise Island were the Amazons.
Yes.
They were the Amazons who were tricked by Hercules.
Yeah.
And they left, and the Aphrodite and Athena created this island for them, etc. So they knew men. It's just been many thousands of years since.
Like I say, a person do get bored.
Yeah.
Okay.
But But yeah, that's the pretty big news considering the fact that DC kind of beat around the bush for
Thank you, Warple.
that they tiptoed around it for many years, decades even. They didn't even explicitly say that Wonder Woman might have had some same-sex relationships in the past.
And then Wonder Woman World 1 or World 2 or whatever the heck came out.
Yeah, and there were hints thrown here and there. There's a comic, I don't remember who wrote it, but where Diana basically says, "Why do you think they call it Paradise Island?" But it never went further than that.
Well, I also remember that one bit where Superman asks her, I'm shocked that you would oversee a gay wedding or a gay marriage, and she's like, I come from an island of women. It's not gay marriage. It's just marriage.
Well, yeah, but that happened in December, so that was already part of the whole change.
That's what I'm saying. It's I just harken back to that
when she has the creepy smile. I love the artist who did that comic, but that particular smile, it's
nothing beats Bombshell.
Yeah. Oh, and a very quick
bombshell shock, as I call it.
Bombshell shock, cocaine binge, Wonder Woman. Before we abandon this topic, I just want to say also, I spoke with Christy Marston, who is the granddaughter of William Moulton Marston. And she is right now the curator of the Wonder Woman Museum. And I asked her, what do you think of this development? And she said, Diana and other women? Why not? So there you go.
All right, we're already at 25 minutes and counting, so...
And there's your last topic of the day.
No, it's not the last topic of the day. We've got 3 topics to go.
What? Oh,
you have a topic and I have 2.
Hey, go on. I need to dig something up.
Unless you want to skip the last 2, which I can do.
Keep going. Let me see.
All right. Next up, speaking of, like I said, I've got more languages to screw up. Legend of Ravaging Dynasties, or L.O.R.D, is apparently a motion capture CG Chinese film, which when I first saw it I thought, oh, Final Fantasy meets Disney in all the wrong ways. But this apparently just came out in cinemas in the US and Canada as of yesterday. I don't know what cinema it came out to because I haven't seen it. But apparently it opened in China the same day. It is from Chinese director Guo Jingming and stars Fan Bingbing and Chris Wu. As I said, it is a motion capture CG film. Lionsgate has brought it over, and apparently it is... they thought it was part of their bailiwick because it's... What are you looking for?
Nothing. Don't get distracted.
I get distracted because I see your back. So does everyone else. Anyways, they felt it would fit in with their other young adult hits such as Hunger Games and the Twilight franchise. And it is used. They basically used the filming techniques that were pioneered during the filming of James Cameron's Avatar. And what's funny is, the storyline is set in a world of mysterious sorcery that is split between 4 nations of water, wind, earth, and fire, which sounds strikingly like another Avatar. But basically the movie is meant to follow the young disciples of 7 top sorcerers as they fight evil forces within this imaginary realm. So it looks really, really cool. I was admiring some of the concept art that went behind this. I'm going to go looking for it to see if I can find some place around here that's showing it. I suspect what might be showing it, and God knows I hate going all the way into town to see a movie.
Oh dear, you're going to have to deal with people.
No, I'm going to have to deal with parking. Screw people, I could care less.
Just bike to town.
Bike to town, he says. He has no idea how far town is from me. And the fact that there is a mountain in the way. And not a mountain you can go around. You have to literally go through it or over it. And by through it, I mean freeway or take the max. And now he'll say, why don't you just take public transit in? Because I don't like the max.
All right, are we ready?
Anyways, moving on. My little rant about my car's over. Moving on.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I am very happy to announce that the Teen Titans no longer suck, or at least as far as the first Rebirth Teen Titans issue #1 goes. This little work is written by Ben Percy, and it is colored as art and colored by John Boy Myers. How do you go get a name like John Boy? I'm not making fun of it. It's just so unusual.
Evil parents like the Waltons.
I don't know. I guess it's unique. It stands out. But in any case, I'll start speaking about the art. The art is it feels very animated, and that's not a bad thing. There is a good amount of stylization going on, not the hyper-realistic comic book art that a lot of people expected. Definitely not like the George Perez art that you found in the classic Wolfman title, but that is not a bad thing. The colors and the art makes the issue pop very, very much. There's a lot of vibrancy to it. I like a lot of the character redesigns, like Starfire. I like her outfit redesign, especially. The writing in itself, the first issue is not will not surprise you if you've read the blurb, which you have if you've ordered the issue. Then you will know who is behind all of the things that happened in the first gathering of the team, but it's still very, very delightful. I'll give this book props for starting with my favorite character, Beast Boy, right from the start, and every character gets its own little vignette with their own voices, and for the first time since forever.
It's in, not since, but
yeah, but I want to say since. You actually can feel the individual characters' voices. Each character, you have Beast Boy, you have Kid Flash, Wally West, you had Raven. You gotta love Raven, and you have Starfire opening.
So Raven.
That's so Raven. But each one is written. Each little vignette is written in the appropriate character voice, and from the things that Beast Boy says at the very beginning. Classic continuity for the Titans is back because Beast Boy does not talk about being I don't know, electroshocked. I don't know what the hell was going on in that lab scene. Well, being red and electric. Well, Harvest triggered his powers or whatever. But no, he talks about being bitten by a monkey with Sakusha when he was a little boy, and now he can change into animals. So I read that and I went, yes, thank you, Percy.
Thank you for an explanation as to why he's green. Yes,
thank you, Percy. Starfire talks about her emotional entanglement with Dick. So, it's what? Okay. Okay, no.
Most poorly named character or appropriately named character ever.
I want you to look up the 10 worst out of context comic panels.
Oh no, I've seen it.
And there's one with Starfire crying, going, "I love Dick. I love Dick." Yes.
I've seen it.
So you cannot. When you're talking about Dick Grayson, it just has to happen.
All right.
But in any case, I like that. I want to see if maybe they address the whole Lobdell era as part of the alternate world, or if nobody remembers that time at all, I would be very happy. Period. But yes, so far I do highly recommend the first issue of the Teen Titans. At this point, it could go either way. It could crash and burn in the next few titles, but from what I have seen of the writer, I don't think that's going to happen. I do think that he gets the characters. He's giving them, of course, their own little spin. But I do think that this series will finally be the series that we've wanted forever since the New 52 launched. There's a slight, I don't know. the best way I can say it's like it mixes the best part of the feel of the cartoons with the humor and the color, but the writing does make a lot of callbacks to the Wolfman era continuity. So buy it.
I want to get a little button that like moderators in debates have. That's like your time is up.
Well, that was it. My time is up, but I do recommend it. Go and get it, and let's hope that it continues the trend of rebirth of actually DC being good at last.
All right, and last but not least, War of the Planet of the Apes. Apparently, Andy Serkis, who plays, well, CGI plays Caesar from the rebooted series, and Matt Reeves will be appearing at New York Comic Con on October 6th and 7th. They will be premiering exclusive behind-the-scenes footage, apparently, offering the first look of this movie, which is currently slated for 2017. They did release a synopsis for the film, and I will read that really quickly. In The War of the Planet of the Apes, the third chapter of the critically acclaimed blockbuster franchise, Caesar and his apes are forced into a deadly conflict with an army of humans led by a ruthless colonel. After the apes suffer unimaginable losses, Caesar wrestles with his darker instincts and begins his own mythic quest to avenge his kind. As the journey finally brings them face to face, Caesar and the colonel are pitted against each other in an epic battle that will determine the fate of both their species and the future of the planet. As we know from the last movie, Caesar does have this furry Jesus thing going on, so it'll be very interesting to see where that plays out. But that's all I've got for that, because obviously they haven't shown the trailer yet. So there we go, guys.
Never use those two words together again.
Furry Jesus?
It gives people too many. Yeah.
It leads to too many opportunities of abuse. Is that what we're saying? All right, so that's all we got, guys. That is our media episode. Again,
34 minutes.
A little longer than planned. We are going to need to find a way to crop this down just a smidge to be an appropriate time.
I think 25 to 30 minutes is good.
And next week we'll be back with hopefully the official reformat. And we'll be talking games next week. And that'll be it. So, peace out, guys.
Peace out.
And once again, I have to remember how to stop this. There we go.